While the Sun Ring may seem far away, there's actually quite a few steps you can take right now in order to get ready for when the expansion arrives. I've compiled a list of 5 things you can do right now, with 3 of them actually making quite a big difference. Number 1, get gold. Yeah, I know, every expansion, same thing, get gold. But for Cataclysm, it may be more true than for any expansion thus far in WoW Classic. Not only will you have to spend gold to max professions, which will cost you several thousand gold at release, but each of the core items crafted at 525 requires a ton of rare materials that will be insanely expensive at launch. Not to mention that tailoring, leatherworking, and blacksmithing will have 2 359 item level BOE pieces tied to their profession that are pre-biz for almost every single class. Once the first raid tier is released, you'll see a bunch of groups spamming trash in Bastion of Twilight for BOE drops. Any raider worth the raid spot will make sure to snipe 1 or 2 of those pieces before even heading into progression. Potions will be expensive, and flasks will cost you a small fortune before guilds get access to the improved cauldrons. Let's just say that if you're someone looking to do heroic raiding within the first few weeks of Cataclysm, I would not go into the expansion with less than 200,000 gold. 2. Start farming justice points now. The current badge and emblem system was reworked into Justice and Valor point system in Cataclysm. That also means that our existing currency needs to be converted. Any remaining emblem of heroism, valor, and conquest will be converted into 5.5 gold each. This is decent money, but on most servers I reckon it being more gold efficient to turn your emblems into gems to sell now rather than wait for the conversion. But for our purposes, we're interested in emblems of triumph and emblems of frost. When original Cata released, they were converted into justice points at a rate of 11.58 justice points per emblem. Justice points is the currency we will use come Cataclysm to purchase our 346 item level blue quality gear, which will set us up for heroic content, and with some pieces being actual best in slot. Thus, as you can imagine, heading into Cataclysm with 4,000 justice points, which is the cap, is quite powerful. In order to get 4,000 points when the conversion hits, you'll need a combination of 346 emblems of Frost and Triumph. But it doesn't stop there. It's actually possible to stack an additional 2,666 justice points before Cataclysm even hits. With the introduction of 4.1, a PvP vendor was added to incentivize PvPers to keep running battlegrounds even after honor was no longer needed for gear, as they could convert honor into crafting materials. But another thing that honor could be converted into was justice points. And this means if you have a cap of 4,000 honor, that will convert into 2,666 justice points. Having a cap of 75,000 honor will yield you 1.8 thousand new honor, but the rest can be obtained through a combination of arena points, Stonekeeper shards, or various other marks of honor. And I also imagine that this honor cap will quite easily be obtainable come pre-patch. 3. Fix your professions. If you're like me, you've leveled up engineering to 410 on every raid character for the unused benefits and then stop there. Now is the time to actually get it all the way up to 450. But also keep in mind what professions you'd like to reroll in Cataclysm. On my main DK, for example, I want to drop my current jewel crafting right before pre-patch and level up alchemy for the first tier of raiding. Once I've got a replacement trinket for my alchemy trinket, I want to reroll back to either jewel crafting or blacksmithing to get mastery benefits from those professions. Thus, if you're planning to do something like me, having profession kits ready on bank galls is not a bad idea. Some profession specializations are also getting changed. For example, the transmutation specialization, materials required for the quests, is getting changed from primal might to true gold. And trust me, true gold is going to be incredibly expensive come start of Cataclysm. Thus, make sure to finish up specialization before we head into Cata. Before bots starts rampaging in the lands, raw materials are going to be very expensive. Thus, preparing a level 80 with 450 mining and herbalism is not a bad idea. In Cata, you'll be able to track both mining and herbalism at the same time without any fancy weak Rs. 4. Level and gear alts. Getting whatever alts you might want to play in Cata to 80 is a no-brainer, but also getting them somewhat geared to help with the leveling process is not a bad idea. In pre-patch, the Wrathful gear will be available through Honor, so those alts left behind in Nax can catch up rather quickly by just logging in for Wintergrasp every 3 hours. But I would not go overboard, and I would certainly not spend money in GTKPs to gear alts for Cata. The leveling content is very easy, and already from the very first quest, you get access to 272 gear, which is almost equivalent to ICC 25 Heroic. Going into Wrath of the Lich King, some pieces from Sunwell were your actual pre-raid best in slot heading into Nax, but this will absolutely not be the case in Cata. Even Shadowmourne is equivalent to a blue weapon you get from your very first normal dungeon. 5. Fix your bags and bank. If you're like me, your bank on all your characters looks something like this right now. And I know that transmog is coming, so you'll want to hold on to at least some of those old tier pieces. But now it's the time to start getting rid of duplicates, old rings, events items, etc. But honestly, there's just something satisfying about having a nice and clean bag. I don't think there's much else that could be done in order to progress your character in the preparation of Cataclysm. But if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them down below. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Until next time.